black and brown folks, working people in this city don't have to suffer under very hostile circumstances. Thank you for that question.
Mr. Mayor, one more topic. The Chicago Bears. They said
they're in first place right now, I understand.
A tie is a tie.
The tie is a tie.
But they gave us the clearest indication yet that they plan to pack their bags and move to Arlington Heights, hoping to break ground on a new stadium by the end of the year. Your thoughts on that? Is the process over in your mind? Should Chicago start looking for new tenants for Soldier Field?
Well, look, I've made it clear from the very beginning. You know, my focus has primarily been on making sure that our education system is fully funded, our public transportation system is fully funded, that we are securing progressive revenue. I mean, we have gone as far as to say that if the state of Illinois is reticent to moving on certain progressive revenue ideas, provide home rule authority so that we can address it, right? I mean, if you look at just the local government distributive fund, I mean, we've lost millions of dollars because of the way the configuration has favored the state of Illinois to be able to capture those dollars. Same thing with the personal property replacement tax, PPRT. We're talking about millions of dollars. Just those two elements alone have reduced our share of the pie, right? But there are ways in which local government, I'm willing to put forth the ordinance or policy that allows for, again, 127,000 millionaires, 300 millionaires, 25 billionaires, right? We have essentially people in the city of Chicago, state of Illinois, that are virtually paying no taxes, right? And so that's where my focus has been. Now, as far as the Bears are concerned, look, there's no secret that I believe they belong in the city of Chicago. Now, there are some hurdles that they have to still go through in Arlington Heights, right? I'm always going to be honest. I believe their best efforts should concentrate on the lakefront. And why wouldn't they? I mean, think about the economic boom and growth that we're experiencing in the city of Chicago right now. You know, we've had record-breaking days in our airports. Population growth, hotel occupancy has gone up. Ridership on our CTA continues to go up. $20 billion of tourism dollars coming to the city of Chicago. Violent crime continues to go down. I mean, Joe Mansueto, believes in our vision for the city of Chicago. The All-Star game, Major League Baseball All-Star game coming to Chicago. There's great confidence in our economy right now. So, look, I think the McCaskey family has done, great work, over the course of, 100 years in this city. They belong in the city of Chicago. They really do. And I actually believe that most people believe that. But, that's a decision that they will ultimately have to make. But there's not the clearest path for them. They still have some asks of Springfield. Again, my focus, progressive revenue, education and transportation. And of course, my door is always open though.
One of your predecessors once said that if they ever moved to Arlington Heights, he wouldn't let them call themselves the Chicago Bears. How do you feel about that?
Now look, I'm going to offer up some breaking news here. Richard J. Daley and I agree on that. All right.
Good, Mr. Boyd? Yeah, still morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
So it seems like with Mr. Trump, like my late father used to say, you're wasting a lot of time trying to convince a damn fool against his will.
Well stated to your late father. All right.
So my first question, like their suburban counterparts, certain of your youth hirees for your One Summer program are saying they have yet to get the last of their paychecks. This while certain new police recruits are saying that they have yet to get their pay from training, and while certain collective bargaining agreement employees have yet to get their COVID pay. So pretty much what's up with the mozzarella fella?
You're the only person who can get me to break character. All right. Well, let me just try to run through those quickly. So as far as the police officers, a technical matter that has been rectified, right? So that's thing one. As far as COVID pay and the agreement around, you're referring to an agreement with our 911 dispatchers. We have, reached an agreement there, and so that will be settled, just like what we did with local to our fire department. So their back pay will be taken care of as well. As far as youth employment, I'll have to look into that one. My understanding is, everything closed out well, but I will verify to make sure that if there's a particular organization that you are aware of, if you can leave that information with the gentleman that's standing over to your right, we can get a response to that.
Okay. This next question deals with Walter Burnett, and there is so much messiness attached to it. I'm just going to try to bundle it as much as I can and let you untangle it. So it's come to our attention that apparently your office put out a letter to HUD asking that he be put back on the table as far as CHA CEO after a meeting with HUD officials 2 weeks ago where allegedly, and I say allegedly because I wasn't there, you all agreed that he would be taken off the table, one, because of this, I guess, 1 year rule, and two, because there was so much pushback that the Trump administration and HUD did not want any parts of.
Well, let me just say, Alderman Burnett is still in contention to lead CHA, and those conversations have been had about how this rule applies or does not apply. Our understanding as our Department of Law digs through this in earnest. Our understanding thus far indicates that he is qualified and not out of contention to be able to, if the board agrees, to lead the CHA. But it is, you're right, there's a very complex entanglement there, but as our Department of Law unpacks it and works with HUD, our initial indication is that as convoluted as this element is, it does not preclude him, if the CHA board agrees, to lead CHA. All right, thank you.
And wait a minute, one question on behalf of Prosperity. Wait a minute, this is very important. One question on behalf of Prosperity, who couldn't be here today, but noticed something, and her question is, what is the CPD's relationship with ICE ahead of this Trump threat? Because she said yesterday she was at a police, wait a minute, she was at a police station and she noticed a mass people going back and forth between the parking lot and the police station.
So again, we collaborate with federal agents on a number of issues, particularly around guns being trafficked through our city, which is quite severe, human trafficking. But there is no coordination with federal ICE agents and the Chicago Police Department. We are a welcoming city ordinance, and we will maintain that status.
I think we're going to end this with a follow-up. Surprise. Hi, Mayor.
Hi.
On the Bears, Rep. Cam Buckner says Springfield should not give the Bears a property tax break now that their eyes are on Arlington Heights. What are your thoughts on that specifically?
Look, I think that there's been some alignment around what the expectation should be from the Bears, which what I've always said, they have to put as much skin in the game as possible. And as far as the Chicago proposal, the proposal was, $2.2 billion, I believe. So 72%, 75% of the stadium would be paid for by the Bears. They would rectify and deal with the $600 million that's still owed on the current stadium, and that we would own it. The city of Chicago would own it, right? And furthermore, what they were asking for, which all franchise asks for, ISPA dollars, which are state-controlled dollars that are designed to build stadiums. That's the only thing that they do. So essentially, the stadium in Chicago would be financed 75% by the Bears and the other 25% by visitors, essentially, because the ISFA revenue is generated from the hotel tax. To your colleague's question, it's why I've said, like, I don't have, those levers, right, as the state does in terms of how they could approach the Bears in this situation. Now, I know that they're going to need infrastructure dollars, whether they are in Chicago or Arlington Heights. What's interesting enough, though, is that the infrastructure dollars that are being asked for in Arlington Heights would require what you just described, versus in Chicago, that requirement is unnecessary. In fact, that entire campus, from the Obama Center all the way to Navy Pier, everybody agrees that infrastructure dollars there are a worthwhile investment because it allows for traffic to be able to move better in a more efficient way. So, again, I try not to get into the responsibility and duty of, state reps and state senators. All I'm simply saying is that the proposal in Chicago, there's a lot of benefit to that proposal, right? We're talking about thousands of construction jobs, literally thousands of construction jobs. I believe it's estimated about $8 billion of income that would be generated from this project. So, again, I know the Bears are committed to, their fan base, and, my door will remain open. All right, did we get through all of them? All right, well done, you all. Nice job. Thank you.
More GPS.